Hey, here we are again, surprisingly. Um, Yet another kilt alteration, and I've been staring at this one for a while. The kilt came out to me a little while. We've had some email traffic back and forth, a very long phone call yesterday or the day before I proceeded with this, because this is once again it's from someone who's over 1,000 miles away, and the longer I stay in business, the longer I'm at this, the more particular I get. My standards, frankly, my standards keep going up. And I'm at the point where I really don't want to accept long distance orders anymore. I mean, you can live anywhere in the world, but if you want me to make a kilt, you're going to be making at least a couple, probably 3 trips to the shop, because otherwise you're simply not getting your money's worth. Um, but we're gonna spend that. We're gonna make that effort with this. Um, because initially I was reluctant to take on this commission just for that reason, because he bought this gentleman bought this kilt. The cloth is gorgeous. It's hand woven by Peter MacDonald, the famous tartan historian in Crieff in Perthshire in Scotland, and made by a kilt maker in Scotland, and is beautifully made. The workmanship is brilliantly done. The is pleated to the set, and there's absolutely everything right. The canvas is the usual thing, but we'll talk about that in a second. But the problem was, when he bought this thing, I don't think it was made for him. I can't believe it was made for him because it didn't fit. It was far too long. He sent it to someone to alter it, and they took his money, but they didn't really do the job. They shortened it, but they didn't. They only brought it down to the height of the buckle, the buttonhole. And from what he told me, it says that they said they couldn't go past that. Well, wrong. You can, and I'm going to. But what it looks like all they did, they shortened it, and then they moved the strap a ridiculous amount over, and they moved the buckles a ridiculous amount over. Because I have to think that this buckle was originally there, had been moved back to there, and that's taking money on false pretenses. This is bullshit. So yeah. So he sent it to me, and I had a long, because the email is an imperfect medium, because it's by its very nature, it's terse, and I was starting to get uneasy about this, because he was expressing a bit of annoyance at his journey with this kilt. That he, once again, he'd spent the money for the kilt, spent money for alterations, and they hadn't done the proper job, and I was basically the last ditch. So I had a long conversation with him, and basically what I was trying to do to draw him out, it's like, how badly do you want this done? I can do this, and the transaction isn't done until we're both happy with it, no matter how long that is. Because I told him, says, if you got many kilts, how badly do you want this? Because hand me a buckle and ask me if I can restore your kilt. I can do that. It's gonna be a lot of money. You just bring me a buckle and I can build a kilt around it, right? But so yeah, so we had this long conversation. We came to an understanding where we more completely understood each other, and I'm presenting this so that I don't have to write reams and reams of text, and also because in this video I'm really communicating directly to him what I see and what I wish to do. Because what we have, again, is beautifully laid out. And what we see is what I frequently see in army kilts and kilts made by shops, production shops, where you've got many people that are possibly working together on one kilt versus one person who does the whole thing the whole way through. Because what we see are the pleats, 25 pleats here, and there's essentially no taper from hip to waist. They're basically parallel. They lose maybe a 1/16 of an inch over, 8 inches. So therefore, all of the shaping is done in the A line, and we can see that's quite a pronounced A line there. Fair enough. It works for them. It's not how I do it. I do the reverse. 90% of my shaping is in the taper with a comparatively minimalist A line. So we're at opposite ends there. So yeah, so frankly, and he's got a 6-inch difference between his hip and his waist. And he's an adult. He's not going to, his figure isn't going to coarsen. We can say that. He's actually older than me. His figure, he's quite lean. I can't imagine his figure coarsening and therefore having to tear this apart and redo it again, right? So the because generally, if I look at a young person and he's got a 32 waist or a 31 waist and a 39 hip, I can pretty confidently say that in 30 or 40 or 50 years' time, he's going to have a 39 waist to match that hip. Seems the way things go, but it's not going to be in this case. So therefore, I don't think that I can really do, because this kilt doesn't fit him at all. He's a, what are we, 33 waist. We're at 36 already with that dramatic A-line. I can't bring an A-line in another 3 inches, an inch and a half on either side. It's just not possible. So what I think my best, when I say the best chance of success, I will succeed, touch wood, I will succeed, but my plan is to rob at least 1 pleat off of each side, reduce it to 23 or possibly even 21 pleats, and also taper these pleats. Now I won't do it, I may or may not do a separate video, perhaps not right now, but remember in other videos where I've showed how to measure the pleat widths, right? What I've done is inspired by something else. I came up basically with a table so that I didn't have to do it every time. So in the links below, I will post a link to, I'll put up a post on my Facebook page providing you with this exercise where you get the blank sheet, and then after you've done, showing you how to do it, and then the answer key, so to speak. So yeah, what I want to do, I want to, well, top band off, canvas out. We'll see the canvas in the middle in a moment. It's a horror show. Blow out the aprons, press them flat, also blow out or rob a seam on either, rob a pleat on either side. And then, frankly, possibly completely tearing this down, removing all of the seams, pressing it flat, and then re-sewing it according to my table so that we have our proper taper and we actually get a kilt that actually fits this gentleman. Let's take a peek inside. Yeah. This lining is remarkable. It may be a polished cotton or something, but it's almost strong enough to use as canvas. It adds a lot of weight. It adds a lot of thickness, and probably would be quite insulating. This fellow's in Ontario, and I wouldn't want to be wearing this in summer because you'd be like a baked potato at the end of the day. The canvas is what we've come to expect. Tailor's canvas applied incorrectly. The fishing's done all right. But yeah, it looks like we have a pretty good seam allowance. So that should be okay. If we're going to take it apart, press it flat, sew it back together again. But yeah, so there we are. It's I don't think it'll be this, by the time it's finished, it won't be this person's name on the kilt anymore. It'll be me, because the weaver's name will remain, but by the end of it, it'll be a kilt that I've made as opposed to one that I've repaired, so, or altered, I should say. But the cloth is gorgeous. It's when he tells me that the color scheme, the palette, is from the Wilson of Bannockburn palette, that famous mill, which you can Google it and find out the years it was in production, but it was certainly at the height of its success in the 1820s, around the time of the royal visit in 1822. They pretty much, yeah, major players in the evolution of kilts and tartan. So yeah, there we go. And if you look around, as you can see, I mean, it's not like, one of the things that, when I had this discussion with them, I was making it plain to myself that I wasn't going to influence his decision to try to get the job, because I've got, look at that, those are alterations, that's new work, and I've got that much material yet to arrive that's on order from the mill. Look over there, there's another kilt that I've just pressed the old creases out of so I can make it up so it fits its owner. That's in the U.S. Coast Guard tartan, quite pretty, and a beautiful piece of cloth. It's the hand on the stuff is wonderful. So there we go. I will. I'm not sure how much else I'll post about this, but yeah, I look forward to this. It's gorgeous cloth, and I'm glad that he has trusts me to unfarb this, shall we say, and make a kilt that he will be happy to wear. Because yeah, because I'm never going to push somebody in, but in order to, I'm not going to be I'm hungry for work, but not so hungry that I'm going to mislead a customer into what the outcome is going to be. It's going to be kind of an expensive job, but it'll be done right, and it'll be done. If you do the job right, you do it once. You do a job crappy, you do it 3 or 4 times, so you can see. And I'm running out of things to say, so take care of yourselves and see you again.